The upper room was the place in which the disciples gathered to pray. There, Jesus had the Last Supper with his disciples and appeared to them after he had risen. The place was also the scene of another very important episode in the Bible, described in the Acts of the Apostles. After Jesus ascended to heaven, the disciples were gathered here behind closed doors. The Jewish feast of Pentecost, celebrated 50 days after Easter, was imminent. Suddenly, a sound like the blowing of a violent wind filled the house, and tongues of fire appeared. They were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other languages. Next to the upper room, there is a Franciscan monastery. Father Wander, one of the religious of the house, explains the history of the place.
No período bizantino,
in the Byzantine period, different shrines were built, not only on Mount Zion, but in various parts of the Holy Land, in the places narrated in the Gospel. Here, a large church called Holy Zion was built.
chamada Santa Sião.
The site was the scene of destruction and reconstruction. During the medieval era, the Franciscans came and settled their first convent in the Holy Land here. They were expelled by the Turks in the 16th century and later returned in 1920. Today they can celebrate an official liturgy twice a year, on Holy Thursday and on the day of Pentecost. We, as sons of St. Francis, strive to preserve our presence in this place so dear to the Christian experience, and we do this in a discreet manner, respecting all religious groups who come here. We give Christian pilgrims a place to celebrate the Eucharist as well as other sacraments, as close as possible to the upper room.
Do Cenacle, celebrar a Eucaristia e outros sacramentos.
The upper room is part of the itinerary of pilgrimages to Jerusalem. People from around the world come here to perceive the experience lived by the apostles. Father Jonas lives in Italy and came from Brazil with his parents.
Para nós é uma alegria estar aqui.
For us, it is a joy to be here in these days leading up to Pentecost, coming to the place where Jesus prayed and to the place from which the Holy Spirit sent the disciples around the world is powerful. Therefore, participating in the mission of Jesus as a member of the church is exciting.
Me sinto emocionante.
Em cada momento da vida,
in all circumstances, I ask, Holy Spirit, enlighten me. And now this is the descent of the Holy Spirit, and I actually see the strength this experience gives me to be able to continue my journey.
Poder seguir a caminhada.
Pentecost was a break for Christianity. With the coming of the Holy Spirit, the disciples were filled with courage and wisdom. It was all they needed to proclaim the risen Christ to the four corners of the world.
E essa missão, ela se renova hoje.
And this mission is renewed today through the Spirit who acts in freedom and continually renews his church. We are called to be missionaries, both men and women. Pope Francis constantly invites us to be a church at the start, a church in mission, which is precisely the church born from the experience of Pentecost.
Pentecost.